itu hari. Hi.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Hey, senior. Hey. Not feeling, huh? It's loud, huh? I'm going live at 4, so it's just a minute. How many minutes do I have? I'm about to do my info session for my internship. Hold on. I was saying, hey, senior. I was just like, I picked lo-fi music too because I want to have fun. All right. Is it 4 o'clock yet? I think we got a minute or so, but we're going to go ahead and start this info session. So welcome. This is Sherry James from Phoenix Speaks, and today we're doing an info session specifically about the Decoding Jung summer internship program. So there's been so much anticipation around this project. We've worked really hard to prepare for our summer intern students to get started. And this is just an information session. So we're here to ask or to be able to answer any questions that you may have. We're here to find out how many people are signing up, are interested in signing up. I was literally unable to get to all of the people who were interested in being a part of this project. So I decided to have an info session, make it a little more interactive, and of course, utilize some of the technology that we'll be using as we go through this project. So I'm going to check in, make sure that we are live on all of the networks. So it's 4 o'clock, and I'm excited to get started. So we have an 8 week project plan that's already laid out. And yes, of course, I did utilize AI to help me put all of my thoughts in order to make sure that this lesson was easy to follow, easy to understand for multiple generations, because we are focused on decoding Jung's Red Book. And not a lot of people are familiar with this Red Book. And I think the next couple of generations will really benefit from fully understanding the departure that Carl Jung took away from his original writings when he did this particular book. From my understanding and the research that we've done, this book was actually handwritten, and it was about him coming into self and understanding himself. He talks about his understanding God and God's place in his life, which a lot of people just would not even believe that existed, because he worked so much in the scientific space, in academia, and is being known as one of the forefathers of psychology. His work very much impacts our lives when we come to psychotherapy, psychoanalysis. And what better way than to listen to, read this book, and then develop 7 personas, so 7 real-time personas of current day humanity, and apply those same learnings that Jung had in his Red Book. Let's do it again. Let's figure out what happens if he were to write the Red Book right now. What would these 7 personas look like? So super excited about what we were doing. And I would love to spend some time just making sure that, again, that we're live on all of the channels, because typically I struggle with that. So hopefully I'll have an intern or two that can help keep me up to speed. All right, so I'm going to go back to get you guys a little bit of music while we wait. And let's see if I can get some more upbeat music, because the music we just had was nice and calm, which is what we needed. But I'm going to go on mute for a second and check in on all my channels. And if you've got questions, please do drop them in the chat. I will answer questions as they come in and tell you more and more about this project. So I'll be right back. I'm going to get you guys some music while we wait. And I'm going to check in on my other channels to make sure that everything is well. So give me 1 minute exactly. That's me. All right. So looks like we're live everywhere we're supposed to be. So I am super excited to get started. So let's talk about the high level where, when, who, why of this project. This is a global research project. It is an internship, an unpaid internship program. So you would get the opportunity to work from wherever you are in the planet. We found out very early on this process that people wanted to do this project from everywhere. And initially, I felt very frustrated because I'm like, I can't be up all night to answer questions. But luckily, I have a team that is global, and we will be able to accept participants from everywhere, understanding exactly these seven personas, making sure that they cover a myriad of humanity. So, 8-week program. We start and officially kick off on May 25th, y'all. So we've got a couple of days left to put some final tweaks on all of the operations and the project plan and the lesson plans. But we've got some people who are currently already extremely excited about being a part of this. So again, kicks off on May 25th. The first thing before we do anything else, I want to tell you a little bit more about Phoenix Speaks, why we exist, and why we're doing this project. So Phoenix Speaks Incorporated was created in 2019, and our goal was to become the voice of mental wealth. We have a program called Creating Mental Wealth, where we take financial literacy vernacular and we apply it to the findings and the studies of our mental health. We use terms like mental wealth deposits, mental wealth withdrawals to document, handwrite document our feelings, our emotions, the things that we are impacted on a day-to-day basis, and we actually keep track of it in what's considered a mental wealth balance sheet. So this I Am AI project is a culmination of the Creating Mental Wealth curriculum that we've created and have been utilizing for the past 5 years. It also includes the use of AI. So once this project kicks off, you guys will have the access to use a AI chatbot. Say that 5 times fast, or 2 of them actually, so that you can research more and more about the Red Book written by Carl Jung. So we've got technology, we have the mental wealth space, and obviously we want to make sure that this project is something that is sustainable and scalable, that we can continue to teach this mentality, because Jung obviously was onto something, so much so that he didn't want anyone to know this book was written for a very long time. And I believe that is something that we can definitely use to maintain our mental wealth, to obtain it and maintain it. And super excited to hear more about everyone else's perspective. So we'll talk about a little bit about the lesson plan and how that's going to work out throughout this project. So week 1, which again kicks off next week, May 25th. For some of us, that's a holiday, but for the rest of us, we will get started reading the Red Book. And so we will read this together. It's not I know everything and I'm teaching. We are going to learn together. We're going to read through the Red Book, apply the Creating Mental Wealth methodology on top of that, and then we're going to document our findings, and we're going to make sure that we document them for ourselves, find out our own learnings, but definitely utilizing the AI chat agents that we have embedded into this project to make sure that we are tracking our findings, and we'll see some similarities bubble up. At Phoenix Speaks, our goal is to make sure that everyone has a voice, that everyone's voice has been heard. And the way that we can do that is by getting as much information and confirmation of these 7, I believe, to be 7 major personas that will bubble up. As a chief experience officer for Phoenix Speaks, I'm always focused on the customer experience. And in this case, there is no customer. We're all customers. We're all clients. And I want to make sure that we understand our own mental wealth. How do we track it? And what theme or persona are we speaking from? So I am PMP certified. I have some days when I run my staff meetings just like a project manager. Very stand up. Hey, tell me what you did last week. Tell me what you're going to do this week. What blockers are in your way? There are also times that I have to take on a different persona, and I am a part of a strategy team. And I'm like, hey, I just want to see this thing happen. Give me ideas on how this is going to work. And so we will be utilizing all of those frameworks. Project management framework, we will be using some of the Korn Ferry leadership architecture. We will talk also about understanding the 360-degree view of ourselves as we do this work in the Red Book. So we've got people, and we've got some philosophy majors, we've got art majors, we have science majors. Any anyone can be a part of this project. The more participants we have, the better the data. And so again, I'll walk through really quickly what the lesson plan is. So week one, we're going to do Welcome to the Inner World. So we'll walk through and talk about our findings with the first couple of chapters in the Red Book. We'll talk about the vision of Phoenix Speaks and how this falls in line with becoming and remaining mentally wealthy. We'll do an introduction to the Red Book, talking about the context, the purpose, the significance of this work. And then we'll do some guided reading. So we'll do some selections of the way of what's to come. We'll do some journaling. So for those of you who are already fans of journaling, which I suggest you become, because so many days I have mental wealth deposits and they happen in a flash of a moment and I forget about it. And then another time I really need to look back on that deposit. So if I don't write it down, I can't go back to it and use it as a deposit, right? So we'll talk about what you fear in uncovering yourself and discovering who you are. And then there'll be an assignment. You'll do a journal, and it'll be called the Red Book Reflection Journal. So I want you guys to be very comfortable and taking enough time out of your week, enough time out of your day to document who you are. So again, we'll use tools. AI technology is my favorite right now. And we'll use that to develop these 7 themes and these 7 personas. Once we've developed that, we'll talk more about how we're going to use that to complete the study. Week 2 talks about the encounters with the shadow. Week 3, we talk about images, symbols, and the soul. And so this is probably my favorite part of this book, because there were mandalas that Carl Jung created, these pieces of art that he believed he saw when he went inside and had this conversation with himself. And so there's an opportunity for us to look at images and symbols and understand how they impact our mental wealth, and create our own. We'll have the opportunity to create drawings and images, sorry, that word was gone, to talk a little bit more about how images and symbols relate to our inner selves, or in his word, the soul. Week 4, we'll talk about the voice within. We'll talk about having conversations with ourselves, which it looks like that's what I'm doing right now, is having a conversation with myself. But we'll talk a little bit more about being honest about our actual mental wealth deposits, withdrawals, the impact of those. We'll do some exercises when we get around week 4 that will absolutely, I believe, change the way we interpret the work of Jung at this point. Week 5, we'll talk about the transformation journey. So the theme for this is death, rebirth, and becoming. And I love that Carl Jung took this opportunity to talk about different perspectives on death, on dying, on coming back, if that's the thing. This is when we will actually implement some of the Creating Mental Wealth public speaking curriculum. And so at this point, you will be able to practice public speaking with your project team. So not with the whole world necessarily, but within our project team, you'll have the opportunity to take the things that you've learned up until that point and communicate them, to make sure that we are learning to communicate with other humans just as effectively as we can with and using technology. Super excited about that. Week 5, we'll talk about, week 6, the theme is order, chaos, and the soul's architecture. So it depends on where you are in the world, depends on what time of the day it is, if your day is in order or in chaos or a combination of both. But this at week 6 gives us the opportunity to step back, take a look at how these outer chaos or internal order, how do these come to play when it comes to creating these themes or these 7 personas. Week 7 is integration and expression. So this theme is synthesizing the self and preparing to share. So we will have learned a lot. Hopefully we will have finished the book. And at this point, we'll be able to say, how do we integrate all of the things that we've learned into these 7 personas? Utilizing these 7 personas, then how do we talk about what we're going to ultimately create, which will be a white paper? Week 8 is the final showcase. The theme is emergence and expression. The title of our last week is I Am Becoming. And so we will be becoming 7 of these individual personas, and we will talk about the Red Book through the voice of those personas. The goal of that, and of course, each week we will have the opportunity to practice our public speaking skills, our communication skills, which today seems that I have zero. But this is natural. This is a part of humanity and being able to communicate and know that there's an actual human on the other end. One of the one of my favorite parts about this current project or this project currently is that I've used AI almost every day over the past 6 months to try to compile information, to try to understand um, this work. And it's been interesting that I asked questions of AI and the answers that came back were not necessarily true. So at the end of this, we will talk about how am I becoming, how am I am AI. We talked about it at the beginning of the project, and we want to talk about what the difference is and how much faith and trust you have in AI if you are not actually documenting the findings and the things that you learn about it. So, in order to fully engage with this project, you need to make sure that you have a personal copy of the Red Book. And I personally love the audiobook version of it. Mr. Sandasani, who did I'm sorry if I pronounced his last name wrong, but the last the person that I've been listening to is on Audible. And so please do make sure you either have a copy of the book, hard copy, PDF, Audible, whatever your favorite medium is, but make sure that you can keep up. So you'll need to make sure that you have technology, a working laptop, make sure that you have stable internet access and an active email account. We want to make sure that we can communicate effectively with each other about this project. And of course, we want to make sure that you have at least 2 hours a week to dedicate to this. You're going to spend a lot of time documenting, but you're going to spend some time reading as well. We will have a project plan for when the meetings are going to be held, and those recordings of those meetings will be available within 24 hours of them being recorded. So even if you can't make it to the course or to the workshop, you'll have the option and the opportunity to listen to and give feedback on that as well. As far as AI and creative tools, you pick your choice. I'm not really concerned about which platform you use. The ones that we've been using so far, ChatGPT, of course, helped us to create this lesson plan. But also, if you are on Instagram, we created what's called the Red Book Sage AI. So yesterday we were having some problems getting connected to that. So definitely reach out to me if you cannot find Red Book, one word, Sage, second word, as an AI chat. And that should give you some writing prompts. It's been prompted and prepped for you to just kind of help you through this project. So I've used Gamma, I've used Microsoft Copilot, Canva. All of these platforms exist when it comes to communicating with technology. My goal is to make sure that you can take something that was written a very long time ago, decode it, understand it, apply current state personas, and then document and update everything via AI, because pretty much nowadays everything utilizes some version of AI, right? And so I'm excited for you guys to be a part of this project. I don't have any questions that are currently in the chat, so that means I can say that we're done until I hear from you guys. So please do make sure that you're utilizing the hashtag #IamAI and also Decoding Jung, Jung. So if you have any questions, reach out to me directly on any of the platforms, Sherry James PMP, Phoenix Speaks Inc. You can find us online here on LinkedIn and of course my YouTube channel. So until I talk to you on the 25th, please do go grab a copy of the Red Book, get started, start learning about his vernacular and why he wrote the book and the environment in which he wrote the book. Also find out a little bit about what the rest of the people who were writing books and working in academia at that time, find out what they had to say about the Red Book. So until then, I am excited to get started, y'all. It's going to be amazing.